As effective as fan service is as a method for gaining some popularity and new fans, it can sometimes make idols feel extremely uncomfortable. From CEOs encouraging skinship between idols of the same gender to fuel the fantasies of fans, to entire variety game shows being created just to give fans what they want. But how do idols and netizens feel about this, considering that homosexuality is still considered a controversial topic in South Korea? First of all, I just want to know what variety show producer said, "Hey, do you know how we can get idols to kiss each other without them actually kissing each other? Make it a game, duh." I literally have no idea who came up with these games, but they're presumably played by students at parties. All we know is that the kissing games are used to sell the skinship to the fans who are just expecting the paper to accidentally drop, or for the pepero stick to get shorter and shorter until their lips touch, whether the idols want to or not. The fact that the stakes of it happening are too high makes it all the more entertaining. The idols who participate are either in it to win or just uncomfortable by the whole idea. And who wouldn't be? You and your coworker/friend are forced to pass around a very thin piece of paper only using your mouths, and everyone is expecting you to accidentally kiss them so the show can get more views. Isn't it kind of messed up to think about it? The whole obsession with skinship is kinda weird, especially with the idols of the same gender and in a country as conservative as South Korea. The game would be fine if there were no cameras and all sides agreed to it, but this often isn't the case. The producers of variety shows play into the idea that two members of the same group can push the boundaries of skinship and being close in general to an extreme, but without taking the risk of actually being a member of the LGBT community. Fans are the reason K-pop groups exist and succeed. Streaming music, promoting these groups and its members on social media, making billboards for the idols and groups for special occasions, attending concerts, buying albums, light sticks, and merchandise. These are all ways fans support the groups financially and help them win awards and rise to popularity. Therefore, it's important for the idols to kinda cater to the fans to make them want to spend time and money to support their groups. What's applied in this case is the customers are always right. There are two kinds of fan service. One of them is when the idols treat their fans as if they're their boyfriends and girlfriends. This kind of fan service extends from shaking hands with fans to hugging them or letting them touch the idol's face, and essentially feeding into the fans' fantasy of dating or having a chance of dating their favorite idols. The other one, the one I'm going to be discussing today, in which these variety show games largely contribute to, is when specific members of groups put out more content or are extra touchy with each other because they know the fans want it. A game that seems to be popular among variety show producers is the paper kiss game. It's a pretty popular party game, but the producers take it just a step too far, and the goal seems to be to make idols uncomfortable. Have you seen how tense and embarrassed idols look when this game is even suggested? It's so sad to watch, honestly. If you didn't already know, the paper kiss game is that one dreaded game where idols are asked to move a piece of paper down a line of people using only their lips. This game may require some strategy and practice. The key is to inhale to keep the paper on your lips and to gently exhale as you pass it on to the next person. They even use extra thin papers for it. While everyone has to laugh and look like they're having the time of their lives while playing the game, there are cases where idols can't hide just how uncomfortable they are with playing it. This uneasiness and their level of comfort are almost never taken into consideration because the audience remaining entertained is apparently more important than idols' feelings. There are also idols who found a way around this game. When BTS appeared on KBS's MV Bank, they were asked to play the game to show their teamwork, as if there were no other ways to prove that they work well as a team. Eager viewers didn't get what they wanted though, because as soon as the game started and the paper was on Yoongi's lips, he started coughing, causing the paper to fall to the floor. Yoongi then gives a truly Oscar-worthy performance when he exclaims, "Did we fail?" like he was truly devastated about it. The rest of the members burst out laughing, looking thankful and impressed by Yoongi's quick thinking. It wasn't the first time BTS members refused to do fan service of this kind, but other idols aren't as lucky. For example, Zico and Park Hyung accidentally kissed after the paper between their lips fell. Park Hyung looked extremely uncomfortable and even complained about Zico during the game since he kept colliding with the members in an effort to make something happen. This isn't the first time that the two had kissed, but that's not what's important here. Keep in mind, this is the same Zico that used offensive slurs directed at members of the LGBTQ+ community in the past, but we'll discuss that later on in the video. Another variety show game that involves kissing is the Pepero or Pocky Kiss game. In March of 2019, two members of Promise 9 went viral on Twitter for nearly kissing while playing the Pepero Kiss game, a game in which two people eat from both sides of a Pepero stick and the team with the shortest remaining stick wins. The Promise 9 members, however, seemed a bit bolder than most people and got really close, nearly kissing. Two of them got so close that they touched lips. There was an uproar from netizens who called the whole thing disgusting and questioned why the production team would even make the members play the game, especially considering 4 of them were minors at the time. On the other hand, the clip of the girls went viral on social media. The clip had hundreds of thousands of views, and the fan fansite pictures still get reposted for clout to this day, despite, again, the members participating were minors, and people even started checking into Promise 9 because of it. While this might seem good on the surface, this whole thing strays into weird territory when these new fans have no connection to the group except watching two girls getting close. How much of this is really up to the idols though? Are they a partner in crime to the TV producers or just victims? If you ask me, even though some do it on purpose or even for attention, most, if not all of them, don't seem to have a lot of choice in the matter. If you decide that you want to be an idol, then you're probably aware that at some point in your career, you will have to do some kind of fan service. That's the standard practice, and idols do it with the understanding that people will see it only as fan service. But some things get lost in translation along the way. Companies only encourage and push this practice by choosing pairings and framing moments between idols to make the content more entertaining. It's been revealed that CEOs actively push their idols towards skinship with each other. One trainee exposed the companies for this. In a video, he revealed, "There are a lot of cases where agencies will force it on the idols. They'll encourage the members to do more skinship and take care of one another more." While I'm not surprised about this revelation at all, a netizen commented, "I had a feeling something like this was going on. Whenever people shoot male idol content, the skinship seems so obvious and the fan shipping was too much. I had a feeling the agencies were forcing them to do this stuff. This is a really big problem," which it definitely is. Some excuse it as the idols acting normally around their friends and jokingly flirting with them. Plus, skinship between platonic friends is a really common sight in Korea. Holding hands, linking arms, and hugging amongst friends are acceptable ways to show closeness and comfort. But does this excuse the public's obsession with it? Some fans even go as far as to make the argument that fan service and the fact that these kissing games get aired on national TV in the first place are a sign of progress for the LGBTQ+ community, and that the fan service and ship teasing supposedly help promote acceptance and tolerance to the Korean public. Spoiler alert, it definitely doesn't. The open acceptance and indeed encouragement of this sort of fan service flies in the face of South Korea's general attitude towards the LGBTQ+ community. I probably don't need to state that South Korea is more conservative when it comes to issues of, well, let's call it sexual liberation. Even if we entirely forget the issue of marriage between people of the same gender, South Korea has yet to carve out a safe space for queer people to even exist openly and comfortably in society as human beings deserving of rights and respect. I find it weird that in a conservative country like South Korea, the idols who kiss someone of the same gender on these shows are never called out on their fan service. But if an idol makes any controversial comments or even comes out as LGBT, then the problems will start to arise. The contradiction between the widespread homophobia within Korean society and this obsession that they have with skinship between idols of the same gender is the strangest part about this whole thing. The most often asked question is, why are Korean fans so accepting of this fan service their idols offer to them, but are so repulsed at the idea of homosexuals in real life? Once again, this brings in a larger argument about the division between fantasy and reality within K-pop culture, as well as the problem of homophobia within K-pop. So while straight idols can freely engage in fan service in these twisted variety games without fear, LGBTQ+ idols cannot say the same for themselves. I mentioned Zico, but I think the best example that can explain what I'm trying to say is Choi Siwon of Super Junior. Siwon is known for his devout beliefs regarding Christianity and has vocalized his own beliefs about gay rights in the Yale Globalist. It's safe to say that nobody is surprised with his statements, but I'm not going to repeat them because they're really disturbing. But Siwon, along with the rest of the Super Junior members, are known for their extensive fan service, and I mean extensive. So you can understand why these double standards irk me to no end. Siwon even tweeted pictures of Kyuhyun and him being close. Like, really close. His tweet in those pictures alluded to a romantic relationship, and he has the audacity to say that being gay is a sin, and then turns around and not only heavily engages in same-sex fan service, but looks very eager to partake in these kissing games, even going out of his way so an accident would happen. It's just plain evil. Siwon can do all of this without having his career being run down in shambles, but idols who belong to the LGBTQ+ community don't have the same luxury. For example, actor Hong Seok-cheon's promising career in the South Korean showbiz came crashing down because of his sexuality. While he's been able to make some small progress to get back into entertainment, he's undoubtedly been unofficially banned from the industry and will likely never fully recover from it. Understandably, he has pursued other careers outside of the celebrity world. Mind you, not only was he the first openly gay celebrity in Korea, but he also came out at the peak of his career and was often questioned on why he did it in the first place. He answered, "I was so frustrated about living life while hiding it." So what was the reason behind Seok-cheon's fall from grace? He wasn't pretending to be homosexual for the sake of anyone else. He lives this life every single day, not simply because fans find it cute when their favorite idols, be they male or female, act as though they're in a romantic relationship together. He's gay, and for him, his sexuality is not fan service to be turned into fanfiction. Now imagine if Seokchan was an idol forced to play these kind of games. How would he, as a closeted gay man, feel if he was forced to use his sexuality as a tool to gain more fans? Sadly, we don't even have to imagine that, because it most definitely happens with the idols that are closeted. They're expected to engage in fan service while also expected to bury their own feelings, as it may have huge consequences. It's devastating to even think about it. Just to give you a better picture of how insane these double standards are, let's imagine for a second that idols that voluntarily engage in fan service weren't faking it, that they were actually involved in a gay relationship, and that these games were their way of telling the world that they were gay and proud of it. I don't doubt for a single second that this sort of coming out would lead to the end of their careers. Are we expected to be under the delusion that being gay is only okay in South Korea when it serves to fulfill the somewhat inappropriate fantasies of a largely female fan base? The fact that this sort of fan service is deemed steamy and said to make fans go wild is wrong on so many levels, particularly because if two gay men who truly loved each other kissed that way on the streets of Seoul, then they would be shunned for it. Homosexuality is not a joke, not a gag, and certainly not something to be treated as a lighthearted tool for winning the hearts of fans whose true views on LGBTQ+ rights are often different. What's not being taken into consideration are also LGBTQ+ fans and how they might feel to see things that they might be hate crime for turn into games and marketing ploys. It's obvious that the K-pop industry doesn't take the LGBTQ+ community seriously and just baits people with over-the-top skinship games. In general, the whole topic should not be taken lightly, and it's nothing to joke about. People are attacked and discriminated against for something that they were born with. And of course, it's insanely brave of those who come out in countries like South Korea, but look where it may lead to. I already talked about Seokchan, but there's also the Korean singer Maman, who was the first openly lesbian idol. Shortly after debuting, Maman came out in an interview. Her company initially wanted to pull it off as a prank, but it didn't work, and she was kicked out of the company and received a heavy backlash. There was also Kim Ji-hoo, an actor/model who ended his own life after the amount of hate he received for coming out on a reality TV show. Or even Holland, who was initially told by agencies not to disclose his sexuality, and after he insisted that he had nothing to hide or be ashamed about, he said the entertainment company straight out refused to sign him. Not even that, but he also revealed that some idols he went to school with, and probably the same ones we see being eager to play the kissing games for more views, mistreated him. So attempting to justify the fan service by claiming it's Korea's own way of supporting LGBTQ+ rights is a flawed argument. I get that maybe these producers mean no harm in some cases, but sadly, harm can be done anyway. So I think it's time for entertainment companies and variety show producers to start taking responsibility for this and to treat their idols like people instead of objects only meant to satisfy fans' fantasies. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!